Good morning, good evening, good whatever time it is you're watching this. I'm Dave with Cups and Handles, and in this quick market recap, we're going to break down today's SPY price action, identify the key technical levels that matter, and discuss what I'm anticipating for the next trading session. We only have a few minutes, so let's jump right into the charts. Hello everybody, welcome to today's recap video. It's going to be a very short one, so let's hop right into it. We had some very important levels today, and now I'm not showing all of the moving averages. I'm showing the moving averages we did test today. So we had the 5-day moving average, 20-day, and the 50-day moving average. And this morning, we pretty much rejected the 20-day and 50-day, which means that we had a bounce to the upside. Now, the 5-day moving average earlier in the session was at the 747. Which means we could have the assumption of the high being around that 749 with the low being around that 745 if we're going to fully test that 5-day moving average. And jumping into the 15-minute time frame here, we could see that almost exactly. That was kind of the price action of the day. We had a low of 744.19 with a high of 749.04. So we did have a very quality 5-day moving average test in here. Now, we had a couple important levels we needed to watch for today, and that was the resistance of the 748.72. We hit that level and started rejecting, which means that we can start seeing potentially some bearish price action from this. But one thing we do have to consider is that usually resistances will turn into a support. Okay, so with this resistance being hit, technically the new resistance is now at that 749.04. On the downside, we had the potential of the 742.61 and the 740.96. Now, obviously, that did not play out. And because that did not play out, we have some potentially bullish structure. Let me get my drawing tool out. And with this bullish structure, we now have a cup and potentially starting the formation of a handle. So for tomorrow's session, that puts our ranges to really watch for, if I can get the structure correctly, would be again this 749.04, assuming we pull down in the overnight slash pre-market. If not, then our upside will be quite a bit higher. But the potential upside would be that 750.53. That'd be the first one to start looking for. If we have a large push above that, I would start looking for that 754.62. Okay. Those are the two major the major resistance ranges above us currently. Now, if we do start breaking down, we just need to start targeting some of our downward supports. So the 744.20, 742, the 740. These will be the ranges the market will try to work on. Trading is a skill that can last for a lifetime. Join my Patreon for live classes, my personal market analysis, premium Discord access, and direct communication with me. Invest in yourself, become a more consistent trader, and build a better future for yourself and your family. Visit patreon.com/wooksy to join today. Thank you so much, and let's return back to the video. And we're between two different structures currently. Either we're going to be seeing the head and shoulders starting to play out, which it doesn't look like that currently. But if we do start selling into the pre-market slash open, we can absolutely start forming that right shoulder and pulling down, forming a larger inverse cup to the downside. And if we do form that inverse cup, then we can talk about that in tomorrow's video, but we would start creating a handle to the downside to start testing that major support range underneath us. But if we don't see that, if we see continuation of this bullish structure, then what we can be expecting is, again, the cup to form, already formed, and the handle to break us outward. Now, the one thing that I'm a little hesitant about with this cup is that with the overnight And the pre-market, this would be a very large handle basically going sideways if we didn't move our price too much from where we're at right now. Now, with that said, we do have a potentially larger bullish structure building, and this aligns very well with us retesting some of these upward resistances if we're going to continue pushing upward. Now, within the data sets tomorrow, there's really nothing to move the market too much unless there's something outside of the primary data. I know there is a major AI conference going on tomorrow, so potentially there could be some good news with that. And with that good news, we definitely could see the upside, especially now that we have fully retested the 5-day moving average. With that 5-day being tested, we can have a pretty large bounce to the upside, or we can continue heading down. Now, one thing to consider with the 5-day being tested is that usually when we test the downside moving averages slash supports, we're usually going to push upward again to retest the support ranges above us before continuing to head down if we're going to continue to head down. We still have some fairly bearish structure here overall. We still have this very large inverse cup formed, and potentially if we see that head and shoulders form, we can create that inverse handle to push us downward. So the expectation currently is that I'm not exactly bullish at this point because we have been seeing a lot of bearish price action, and just because we had a good overnight last night, a good pre-market, and a good trading session today doesn't exactly equate to yes, we're starting to see bullishness again. If we start breaking above this 750.53, this 740 or the 754.62, then that would start to invalidate some of this bearish structure and potentially take us up to, again, this very, very crucial resistance range. Now, the thing about that resistance range is that every time we've gotten to that range or very close to it, we have seen major rejections. And we do still have this bearish structure here, so this can still reject downward. Don't think we're out of the woods just yet, just because we had a fairly good and slash bullish trading session. The one thing that is good though is that we did reject this smaller structure right here. We did have an inverse cup building, and with the price action today, it did get rejected. And with that rejection, we are starting to create this double bottom. So there definitely is push momentum here, but if we have a bad trading session tomorrow, this can get wiped out fairly quickly. So I'm going to be fairly neutral. I'm not going to lean either bearish or bullish at this point. We do have the bullish cup, and I do think that's a pretty strong structure. But with us having to go through the entire overnight slash pre-market, I'm not sure that's going to hold out long enough for that handle to really form to the upside. So with that said, I hope everyone has a great trading session, and I'll talk to you in the next video. That wraps up this market recap. If you found the analysis helpful, please take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who would benefit from these daily market breakdowns. It really does help support the channel and allows me to continue creating free educational content for everybody. As always, have a trading plan before you enter a position, manage your risk, and remember, we're not trying to predict the market, we're trying to prepare for it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.